This podcast was written and created by Avi Melamed, Middle East intelligence analyst and founder of the Inside the Middle East Institute.
Today, we're really getting into a critical issue, the whole question of Hamas disarmament. It's deadlocked, but central to any path forward in Gaza. We've been looking closely at this detailed geopolitical analysis by Avi Melamed. And, what jumps out is this surprisingly wide agreement demanding disarmament. It cuts across some major regional divides.
That's right. Our goal here is just to quickly unpack the many conflicting views on this. It's seen as a precondition not just for peace, but for any real reconstruction, too.
And Avi Melamed's analysis highlights just how firm that demand is. It's not just one side. You've got the Trump plan echoing it, key regional players like Saudi Arabia, and crucially, even PA President Mahmoud Abbas.
Right. Abbas has apparently made it clear no PA return to governing Gaza without Hamas disarming first. It's an absolute baseline for him.
But then you look at Hamas, their officials, when asked about it, well, the responses cited in the analysis are, let's say, pretty vague.
Vague is putting it mildly. They seem to be, sort of dancing around it. Yeah.
Exactly. Like Khalil Ahaya saying weapons are an internal Palestinian matter that needs national consensus, which sounds like a delay tactic, doesn't it?
It does. And then Dr. Musa Abu Marzouk says, okay, they'll hand over weapons. Yeah. But only once a Palestinian state is established, pushing it off indefinitely, basically.
And Hazim Qassem even tried to downplay it, claiming Hamas doesn't really have that much weaponry anyway.
Yeah, a bit disingenuous, perhaps. Contrast that with Israel's position, which is pretty uncompromising on full disarmament. And that stance, as you mentioned, aligns with the Trump plan documents.
Though it's interesting, the American mediator, Bashar Bahabuk, apparently noted Hamas might just be angling to keep some light arms, for basic self-defense, not their rockets and heavy stuff.
A small nuance, maybe, but the core demand from Israel and others seems to be comprehensive disarmament.
And the Arab commentary on this, just a split. You see analysts like Faraz al-Sarafani arguing, look, this is just Israel wanting more control.
But then others, like Mohammed Barakat, counter that. They say Hamas refusing to disarm actually just digs them deeper into crisis. It increases the pressure.
So this whole back and forth, it really seems to bring us to a fundamental point raised in Avi Melamed's analysis, the idea of state sovereignty.
Exactly. There's this growing recognition, it seems, that for a state to actually function, you can't have different political factions with their own private armies. Only the legitimate government, through its national army, should hold the weapons.
It makes sense. I mean, can you imagine if, say, the Republican and Democratic parties in the U.S. each had their own armed forces? The country wouldn't last 5 minutes.
Right. It would be absolute chaos. And that analogy really highlights why regional players, especially the Gulf states, see this as non-negotiable.
And that ties directly into the money needed for rebuilding, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. The analysis points out that Gulf monarchies, specifically Saudi Arabia and the UAE, are holding back massive funds. We're talking potentially around $70 billion for Gaza and Lebanon, too, until Hamas and Hezbollah disarm.
So no disarmament, no stability, no reconstruction funds. It's that stark.
Pretty much. And it fuels this really fierce criticism now coming from within the Arab world itself, aimed at groups like Hamas and Hezbollah.
Yeah, the whole weapons of resistance narrative is being challenged.
Strongly challenged. The critique, according to Melamed's sources, boils down to 3 hard facts. 1, these weapons haven't actually liberated Palestine. 2, they haven't protected the people. Instead, critics say they've brought destruction and death.
Right, a heavy cost.
And 3, there's a growing perception that these weapons are often turned inward, used against fellow Palestinians or Lebanese to maintain control.
So less about external resistance, more about internal power.
That's the argument being made, and you see quotes like the one from Saudi analyst Nawaf al-Tabanawi in the analysis.
What did he say?
He basically stated that the whole axis of resistance actually rejects the two-state solution because their very existence, their survival, depends on the conflict continuing. Disarmament would mean the end of their relevance.
Wow. That's a powerful claim. If the conflict ends, their reason for being dissolves.
It's a stark perspective, certainly. Which brings us to maybe a flicker of a different path mentioned towards the end of the analysis.
Oh.
Yeah, it comes from an international law expert, Aman Abu Aisha. He makes this interesting distinction.
Okay.
He suggests, look, handing weapons over directly to your adversary that feels like surrender, total defeat. But Depositing weapons with some kind of neutral, legitimate third party, that doesn't necessarily signal defeat in the same way.
Yeah. Like an escrow for weapons almost, a neutral holding place.
Sort of. It opens up a conceptual third option, maybe, beyond just keeping the weapons or outright surrender.
That's definitely something to think about. So after digging into Avi Melamed's analysis on this, the question it leaves us with, free listening, is really about how you define genuine state sovereignty today. Is it still primarily about military control, about who has the most powerful weapons? Or has the focus shifted, maybe permanently, towards establishing legitimate political authority that's recognized both at home and by the wider region?
This podcast is made possible by supporters like you. ITME is an independent, nonprofit institute committed to apolitical, intelligence-based Middle East education.
To learn more or to support our work, visit our website www.insidethemiddle-east.com